Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we listen to the sonorous songs of the Bare Naked Ladies from 7 to Y. We discuss and critique a band whose harmonies are sometimes like church bells ringing a wedding march, or like swallows singing a mournful tune. We are excited to have Aaron back from his long trip.
It's good to be back.
We brought him back from exile.
I did my time in the penalty box for not liking enough tunes.
Oh, in that case, I'm in trouble after the last few weeks.
Oh, have you been drinking the haterade while I've been gone?
Oh, I think I took over that role quite well. And we are also, of course, as you heard already, joined by my wonderful friend Michelle.
Hello.
Good to see you, Michelle. It's been too long.
It's nice to see you, Aaron. Your hair looks great.
Thank you. I like it.
And yours is too, Tracy.
My hair looks the same as every week.
Yes.
But it looks fabulous.
I have a mohawk for you guys who can't. You're only watching. Trying out the mohawk for a little bit. I think I'm rocking the hawk pretty well, I gotta say.
Hashtag rock the hawk.
Rock the hawk.
Here we go.
Join the conversation.
And this week, we are discussing, if you haven't already picked up on the hints and clues, the song Carol of the Bells from the Bare Naked for the Holidays CD, the first song off this CD from 2004. And I have a bunch of facts about the song Carol of the Bells, but I believe I couldn't find any information about who wrote this, about who composed this song for the Bare Naked Ladies CD. I would have to say, considering the person that is the main focal point of the song, that it had to have been Kevin.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's a lot of...
Oh yeah, lots of synth all through it. Actually, I think it's all synth. This song was originally written by the Ukrainian composer, and you correct me if you know this stuff, and if you can pronounce it better than I can, Mykola Leontovich in 1914.
Yep.
It is based on a 4-note ostinato, which is a motif or phrase that persistently repeats.
Correct.
The song is based off a Ukrainian folk chant called the Shinchendrik. The original work was originally meant to be sung a cappella and mixed in by a 4-voice choir.
Interesting that you say that. Keep going, please. I have some thoughts to share later.
All right. There are two other settings of this composition. One is a women's choir, which is unaccompanied. Another version is a children's choir with a piano accompaniment. Personally, I think maybe that might have been a better and more appropriate way for Kevin to kind of go with this, since it's almost all synth.
Mm-hmm.
It's been recorded over 150 different versions and different rearrangements over the years.
I believe that.
There were original lyrics to this written by Peter Wilhowsky. And
yeah, I believe he worked at Burger King.
Ding, 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 I work at Burger King making flavor whoppers. I wear paper hats. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that?
Last year, right?
Ding fries are done.
The original story was related in the song, was associated to the New Year's because there was no Christian theme in the Ukraine at that time. And it was a story about a swallow flying into a household to proclaim the bountiful year that the family would have. And then when it was brought to America, Wilhowsky rewrote it for the symphony orchestra when they were playing Carnegie Hall, so it would have the bell motif instead. And that's the one that we are now more famously here in America familiar with. That is all the information I have about this song. So with that information thrown out there, enough of the nerding on this. We're going to go over to the music nerd, and tell us what you know about this song, Aaron.
I was going to say, you say enough nerding, but we're about to nerd out. So, here we go. Hold on to your pocket protectors. So, Carol of the Bell, depending on how you count it, I would say this version, I would count it at about 218 BPM, beats per minute. Very fast. I would mark it prestissimo. The pace is almost manic for the bulk of the tune. I was surprised at how fast it was. Surprised on several fronts. Of course, it's in the key of C minor. This is I should say, Carol of the Bells is my absolute favorite Christmas song. There are a few Christmas songs that are in a minor key, but only this one is in a minor key, in an odd time signature, and has a recurring ostinato pattern over a descending root note. These are like several of my favorite musical techniques combined into one song. So it's got a large number of my favorite musical devices packed into a single Christmas carol, so it's no surprise that I love it. Having said that, when I heard, Bare Naked Ladies did Carol of the Bells, I got really excited, So I'm thinking, I love their vocal work, their harmonies, the way they all come together. This is going to be beautiful. This was not what I expected. It's an instrumental song in the sense that the only vocals heard are vocalized choral ahs, no lyrics. Now, I love Kevin's keyboard work, as I always do. However, this song is a bit faster for the bulk of the tune than what I was expecting. And I was expecting kind of a lush vocal arrangement. Now, the unexpected can be nice, and there's something to be said for not always getting what you want, as noted philosopher Mick Jagger once said. But it was difficult for me to think about anything except for how great an a cappella arrangement of this tune would have been, with all the vocal talent you have within Bare Naked Ladies. And you can hear little glimmers of what that might have sounded like in the sections where the vocals come in. So it's not to say that this is by any means a bad arrangement, just that I can hear the seeds of one that I would have liked so much more within it, and that was so frustrating for me. A slower, more somber arrangement with beautiful vocals would have moved me so much more, personally. That's just me, though. What do you guys think?
I'll pass over to you. Go ahead, Michelle.
I have to say, firstly, I have had this album for many years, and I listen to it regularly on the holiday season. So I wasn't surprised by this. Had it been my first listening, I totally get where you're coming from, especially with the vocals, because as we know, and we've mentioned on many episodes already, their gorgeous harmonies are so amazing. And like you said, like a slowed down vocal a cappella version of this would be stunning. Having said that, I have to say, listening to the song and having listened to it many, many times over the years, what my notes were, I love the Hammond organ at the beginning, the in quotations. And it's just kind of mesmerizing, It's easy to listen to. It's easy to listen on repeat. Certain work that I do on the computer during the day helps. It helps if I have instrumental music on, just to kind of quiet the voice that's telling me I don't want to do it. And this is a great song. You know what I mean? Like, it just distracts that. Like, oh, maybe you should get up and have a snack. Maybe you should just take a break and see what's on TV. Maybe you can go to Netflix and rewatch Breaking Bad or whatever. And this is a great song for that. I'd have to say I do like Kevin's sneaky vocals that come in.
Yes.
It's almost like it surprises you, like, wait, am I hearing that or am I making that up? It's sort of such a subtle thing. But I find this version pretty peaceful. I knew what to expect, so therefore I enjoyed it greatly. And, it's a good time of year to be listening to it. We've got a snowstorm on the way. Yep. So, we're just hunkering down and getting ready for the holidays and all that. But I totally get where you're coming from, Aaron.
I mean, it's interesting because I perspective and relativity, they're all so important to how we judge things. If I didn't know this was BNL. If Tracy sent me like an unmarked audio file and said, "Hey, listen to this acid jazz arrangement of Carol the Bell," I might have been like, "Oh, this is kind of cool. I could put this on in the background and do whatever."
Right.
But I think my hopes, I got them up so high because I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great with all their voices blending in beautiful harmony," and I was like, "Oh, this is not what I was expecting." So,
Yes.
Nothing wrong with it. As I said, it's by no means a bad arrangement. And I like certain things about it. It's just, I don't know, it took the wind out of my sails because I was like really, really... that's on me, honestly. I built it up in my head into something it wasn't. What do you think about the song, Tracy, as a whole?
Everything that you said, I really have to kind of go along with. Like when I come to BNL, I come to BNL to be mesmerized and emotionally impacted. Usually in a very positive way. I usually, especially with a Christmas album, even with the Hanukkah songs, like I want to come in and I want you to fill me with Christmas Hanukkah spirit. I want to be full of cheerfulness and happiness and compassion and kindness. And this is a great song for doing that. Like, as you had mentioned, Aaron, Carol the Bells is one of my favorite Christmas songs to listen to. And to fill me with that kind of Christmas spirit of happiness, kindness, etc. That being said, this one for me, and it kind of goes along with what you were saying, Michelle, it's very peaceful. To me, it's something I would hear as and I'm trying to pick my words wisely here, it's something that I would hear as an out-of-the-box type of choice in a mall over the speakers.
Wicked.
Like, hey, let's do something a little bit different and put something on people aren't expecting, but it's still relaxing and peaceful and encourages people to buy.
That's a really good point, because we're talking about expectations. If I heard this over the loudspeakers at a mall or a supermarket or something during Christmas time, I'd be like, oh, nice. This is a nice break. It's something different from all the typical Christmas music. And I really would have appreciated it more, I think, with that kind of environment for the presentation. So it's really a good point about how the way you come into it or what you're expecting can really shape your perception of a tune.
Yeah, because coming into this, like, when I hear BNL, I, like you, expect those big harmonies. I expect this to be boisterous and playful. We'll get to it later, but it's much more like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Sleigh Ride that we get later on. That's what I expect BNL to kind of take with a traditional song, and to take it and do something completely different and off-color possibly, and something that's going to make you smile, laugh, put you in a really good mood, in a good space, and hear amazing harmonies. And I'm waiting for that when I first listened to this CD, and kind of every time I listen to this CD, I'm waiting for that at this spot in the CD, and then I hit this, and I'm like, oh, okay.
BNL, we know.
And I feel like it, for me, it doesn't meet my expectations and is lacking. It's not to say that Kevin doesn't play a beautiful version here, because he does.
He does a great job. Yeah,
he plays this absolutely amazingly beautifully and beyond competently. Competent's not the right word. He is musically talented. Obviously, he's a genius. It just isn't what I'm looking for. I think that if you took this and then built upon this, it would be what I was looking for. Like, if you have this as your basement, as your cement, your framework for a beautiful harmonious arrangement on top of it, that would be completely amazing.
So would you say this is a really well-made and very tasty scoop of vanilla ice cream? Yes.
That would be an amazing way of putting it, yes. It's vanilla bean.
I can see that.
It's got just enough flavor.
But it's fancy artisanal French vanilla bean.
Yes.
It's like, wow, because you're like, I'm not going to eat just a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Oh, you know what? That's really good.
It is the French bean gelato.
It's good call. It's gelato. You're absolutely right. That is the right call.
Great minds think alike there, Michelle.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it is. That's exactly what this is. But for me, it's still vanilla. And I'm wanting like this really full flavor, and it's not where I went with it. So,
That's funny. I'm surprised. I like it. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because the